After 30 years in the legislature, Senator Gen Olson is stepping down. She joins us now to talk a little bit about her career and about her time as chair in the Education Committee. Senator, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, you, Julie.
Let's begin with a little bit about this session and your work as chair of the Education Committee, and you spearheaded legislation to improve childhood literacy, and it's been identified as a key component to trying to close the achievement gap. It's a little early, but how optimistic are you that it's going to achieve this goal?
Well, I am optimistic. I hope that there isn't a way of sabotaging it for those who might, feel that different approaches are more effective. But I believe we have solid grounding for the stance that we've taken in terms of teacher preparation, so that they are equipped to deal with the challenges of struggling readers, and that we have proficient readers by third grade. I think that close to 100% can achieve that.
I want to go back to something that you said as we begin to talk a little bit more about your career in general. I want to talk to you about your early childhood literacy component and what you said about hoping it wouldn't be sabotaged in the future. So as chair of the Education Committee, you've had some control over this, and now you're stepping down. So what are you doing to try to mitigate any future actions, and can you do anything to mitigate anything in the future?
Well, I believe there's a very strong and widespread commitment to having children reading proficiently by third grade. It makes all the difference in the world in their future success, and as well as their ability to succeed in further education. We have 40% of our students going on to college that need remedial education in reading and math, the very fundamental things. So it should say something about what we are doing to lay that foundation in instruction. And thanks to a group of parents called Moms with a Mission, who had children who were struggling readers. They were bright, but they found ways and things that worked, and did the research and said, there's a lot of other children. We could afford to find the option, but something's wrong here, and went to work. And so what's happened is that the rules for the preparation of teachers in the teaching of reading have been updated and strengthened to accommodate all of the scientifically based, research-based methods of teaching reading, the phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. And all of those need to be a part, and teachers need to be equipped to teach in those areas. And the assessments that they need to pass before they get licensed are aligned with that. In our last year's literacy package, we took the step further that we would provide aid. I think it's probably the first in the country, a funding stream that rewards success for those who have the numbers of students that have achieved reading proficiency, or who have made more than a year's growth toward that end. And that we tinkered a little bit with the way in which that was distributed in our bill, our education bill this year, which means for everyone that's successful, they'll get about $350 per pupil. So we also are very strongly supportive of the Made in Minnesota model, the Minnesota Reading Corps, which is tied with the AmeriCorps. And that is on a volunteer basis. Schools can invite Reading Corps members to come in and help these kids over the hurdles, and they teach with great precision the kinds of strategies and things that will make that difference. So there's those and the local districts have their own plan for getting that in place. They have to put that in place in terms of their own staff development and measurement and communication with parents in order to qualify for that aid. And many of them are inviting Reading Corps people in. So I think we've crossed a major hurdle. The governor has been very supportive. He has been promoting this around the state when he speaks, and I think that any resistance to making these changes in how teachers are prepared and strengthened for being effective, I think we've crossed the divide, if you will.
Senator, you have a reputation of really working hard to find areas of compromise, both within your committee and with across party lines in general. And even when you were a member of the minority on the Education Committee, there seemed to be that sense of trying to work together for the greater good. As you step down and leave the legislature, knowing the makeup of the committee that is intact, Senator Bonoff, Senator Stumpf, do you think that this could continue, that this sense of compromise will continue down the road? Well,
I believe strongly that education shouldn't be a political issue, and it shouldn't be partisan, for sure. And the reason that it probably is that it is so highly valued among people that each party wants to try to claim the edge of doing more for education. And I think that's led to contentiousness in dealing with policy matters. And so it's been my goal to attempt to stand above that and go beyond that type of approach. And I think in education over the years, we've had a pretty good, but not just collegial, but really trying to grapple with the underlying issues and not from a partisan perspective.
And do you think
I think people, I've felt that our committee really likes that. And so Senator Stumpf was, we worked together very well, and I think that's continued. He has stayed on as the lead minority, and we reversed roles, but we've worked very well together now when I've had the chance to have the gavel. And I think that people who serve and will be coming in, if they like that tone and atmosphere, I hope that they will continue it.
Senator, as a former teacher and administrator, would you say that Minnesota students are better off now than they were when you took office?
No, that's a tough question. I think we invest a great deal. There are growing challenges. Whether we're keeping up with them all remains to be seen. We have one of the largest achievement gaps in the country. So in some respects, we have slipped. I think that the efforts that we've made to get at the fundamentals in reading and math could go a long way to reversing that course, because we've been leaders in the state, and I think we still are. We were the first to start post-secondary enrollment options, allowing young people to take college courses while in high school. And believe it or not, we in our bill that was passed now, we make it clear that they can qualify for, that those courses can qualify for both post-secondary and secondary in their high school credit. It has pushed our schools to add more rigor, and there's more. We are, I think, in the top 5 of growing states in terms of the offering advanced placement classes, and I think more schools, Minneapolis is recognizing that some students that haven't performed well, or they kind of assume won't do well, they're opening them up and encouraging them to take advanced placement classes. And it is kind of pushing kids to stretch more and learn more. And when we set high expectations, I think that's an area we're still a little weak in. We categorize young people and then we lower the expectations. Well, they are, from low socioeconomic, so therefore somehow we translate that they can't learn. No, that's not true. And so we've got to overcome that. Or if they're children and families of color, that shouldn't make any difference. These young people can perform, and we need to treat them as they can.
Senator, I'd like to offer an opportunity for you, as I have with all other retiring members of the legislature, to say a little something to your constituents. What would you like to say?
Well, it's been an honor to serve. This was something that I have never aspired to do, and it amazes me that I've been here for 30 years in that kind of role. But it has been it's been constant challenge and change, and the opportunity to work with people from a broad variety of perspectives and deal with issues. And recognizing that I'm in a position when people are struggling to deal with the state bureaucracy on one matter or another, that I can find ways to open some doors and help them. That's one of the major parts of the job. It isn't always just sitting and pushing a red or green button, and even the committee work. Those are important, but we're here representing the people, all of the people in our district, and helping them. And it has been a privilege and very gratifying to be be able to serve in that role.
All right, Senator Gen Olson, as always, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your time.
You're very welcome, Julie.